Yes, it is true. I've been remonetized on YouTube, which just goes to show that YouTube only pays attention when you make a bunch of noise. Basically what happened was, after that last video went out, a lot of people reached out to me, some people made some noise. YouTube finally took notice and gave me a response. They forwarded my information to their demonetization team or whatever, and then a few days later it was all cleared up and I had partner status once again. So before we go any further, there are a few people I should thank. Number one, Mr. Klemps. Klemps is too nice, guys. Twice in the last month has he retweeted content of mine onto Twitter. I really appreciate it, Klemps. You are such a nice guy. Thank you so much. But also, that never would have reached him in the first place if it wasn't for my good friend, Dr. Cullen, PhD. Cullen, if you're listening, thank you, man. I really do owe you a lot. Go subscribe to Cullen, guys. But beyond just those two, of course, I want to thank anyone that said anything nice, as well as some people who donated and either joined Patreon or upped on Patreon. But with that said, I got to put it on the record that for the couple of people who donated, I refunded because it just didn't feel right to take your money, given that things cleared up rather quickly. And for the people who either joined the Patreon or upped on Patreon, increased their giving amount, you have not been charged yet. You have not been charged for the month of May. That won't go through until late May, early June. So if you want to reconsider and change your mind, you're perfectly welcome to do that. However, I want to say that while getting verification status back and being remonetized on YouTube is super important for the future of things, because it's kind of the most important step, I can't really do much without that, it doesn't change the fact that because of what happened and me kind of being handcuffed into getting rid of some old content on the channel that was performing well in search engine optimization and stuff like that, my analytics have been in the absolute trash, even with verification status back. So one positive about me taking so long to make this video is that I have the data in to show you that subscriber numbers on a daily average are way down, view numbers are way down, and even though I'm technically monetized, I'm not really performing very well. So what can be done about this? Well, for one, those of you who have joined the Patreon and choose to stay on it, your support obviously mitigates this, and essentially it replaces the ad revenue I was making before with now Patreon revenue. So if you choose to stay on that, then I'm very appreciative of it. But number two, the plan is obviously to just make more new things, essentially replace what was lost with new stuff. There are a couple of things that are in the pipe. For one, at the start of next month, Trails of Cold Steel 2 releases on PS4, and I will have one big video to go along with that, something that pertains to that game's re-release, as well as the upcoming Cold Steel 3. There's been a script that's been in the works for quite a while. You may have noticed, if you follow me on Twitter, that I have been building quite an archive of footage from the first two Trails of Cold Steel games this spring. That's been going on for over 3 months now, I think, and it is quite a lot of footage. It's like 4 terabytes or something like that. So with all that footage in the bank now, I'm free to make all sorts of things this year leading up to Cold Steel 3. That's the plan for right now. There are some things I do want to make, like a little compilation things, but I gotta be careful because I don't want YouTube to get me in trouble again to be like, oh, you technically don't own this. It's really a delicate matter that I have complex feelings about. For one, it's really ironic that last week when I put up that original video about YouTube hitting smaller gaming channels, they were rolling out like a big new update to their YouTube gaming platform. It's really weird in that YouTube, in order to like combat Twitch and prevent bleed out to other platforms that are, you know, becoming more gaming centric or whatnot, YouTube is like trying to step up their commitment to gaming content. And then on the back end, other parts of YouTube, like this, you know, monetization process, are hitting gaming channels. It's kind of like because YouTube is so big that sometimes the left arm doesn't know what the right arm is doing. So while on one front you might hear about YouTube making a big commitment towards gaming content, they're doing other things on the back end that's actually hurting YouTube gaming content. And it's all a real complex matter because gaming content's kind of in a gray area in terms of copyright. Pretty much the industry, at least on the western half of the globe, turns a blind eye to it because they see it as a necessary part of marketing. Developers and publishers pretty much help content creators and streamers now because they think it does more good than harm. But there's some that don't believe that, and the issue of whether or not certain gaming content is technically copyright infringement is a huge gray area that's never been really examined under any sort of legal process. So one part of YouTube/Google is concerned that their advertisers don't want to be involved with something that might be considered copyright infringement. Meanwhile, it's been making them money for years, and they don't want to lose that money to Amazon and Twitch or any other platform. It's a huge mess. My take on it for now is I'm going to keep on doing what I've been doing, and I have a feeling that the gaming side of YouTube, people like me, that we're going to win out ultimately, and that YouTube will not want to lose the money of crushing out certain types of gaming content for the purpose of saving face or keeping a small number of advertisers happy. And actually, when you look at the numbers, YouTube has actually been gaining ground on Twitch in terms of streaming viewers. Obviously, YouTube still comes out way ahead of anyone when it comes to pre-uploaded content, that sort of thing. But where they had been losing before greatly, they're now kind of making inroads and progress in. When you talk about gaming content online, there's a huge pie, and YouTube, I can't see them giving it up anytime soon. So while there's sometimes rough periods like right now, where some back-end legal stuff is affecting some creators, I feel like ultimately we still come out ahead, at least in terms of creative control. Now, whether or not compensation is ever where it needs to be, you probably have heard of creators talk about the adpocalypse 1 or 2 all the time, and payouts not being what they used to be years ago. That's a whole different topic. Given that I wasn't making money on YouTube during the quote-unquote golden days, it doesn't really affect me. So all I can do is keep on doing what I've been doing, do it better, and grow from here. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work on that video I'm promising on June 4th, in fact, the day that Cold Steel 2 hits PS4 in the States. And I have a bunch of other things to take care of. I'm actually in a big transitional period right now in terms of my life. On this coming Monday, I take my final university exam, and within a couple short weeks, I'll officially be a college graduate. So everything is changing very quickly. That means I have a bunch of other adult responsibilities to attend to, like cleaning up my portfolio and going job hunting and stuff like that. But I'll still make time as much as I can to work on some of these projects for YouTube that I've been planning out for quite a while, especially as it pertains to what has turned into a really eventful year in the Trails series, with 3 official releases coming out and 1 unofficial release still on the back burner. And then there are a couple of Atlas titles in the oven. There is so much work to be done. But they say that you don't find time, you make time. So I'm going to continue trying to make time. Anyway, that does it for now. See you guys later, and thank you again.